Hey guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner video. I have just kind of been filming dinners whenever I had them to make. So these weren't necessarily all in the same week, but I have three really good recipes to share with you. I feel like I say that all the time, but of course I'm not going to bring you recipes for things that we didn't think were really good. So there's a wide variety in this, but it's three recipes. A couple of them are really quick to put together. Anyways, you don't need any more explanation. Let's get into these recipes. All right, guys, so for tonight's dinner, we're gonna be making, I think the recipe is just called cream sauce chicken thighs. So we're gonna start by making a flour mixture to coat the thighs in. We're gonna also have that with mashed potatoes, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have a steamed veggie or salads yet, but I need about a quarter cup of flour. I'm probably gonna have a little bit extra mixture than I need because the amount I'm making, I don't think my chicken, I think the recipe calls for like 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs, and I don't think my package is quite that big, but that's okay. To our flour, we want about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. I'm just guessing. You want salt and pepper to taste, I'll just use salt. And then a teaspoon each of Italian seasoning and parsley. I'm just gonna mix this up with a fork to get it all well combined. All right, so I've got the pan on medium heat. I'm putting in some avocado oil. Jesse is sharpening a knife, so you might hear that. He is gonna work on some salads, and I'm going to just take the chicken thighs and dredge them in the flour. And put them in the oil. And I do have potatoes boiling over here for mashed potatoes. And then we're just gonna do that with some side salads. So we're gonna cook this chicken, and then we're gonna go ahead and make the cream sauce. All right, guys, so it got very loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. With the frying chicken and dangerous because of the oil. I definitely need a deeper pan. So I cooked the chicken, flipped it over, cooked it till it was done, and then I poured in 3/4 cup of chicken broth here, and I'm just scraping up all of the brown bits and letting this warm up. I gotta drain the potatoes really quick, and then I'll be back for the sauce. All right, and now I'm gonna add in 4 ounces of cream cheese that I cubed up, and it's been softening at room temperature. And we're just going to mix this in until it is all combined. All right, I'm gonna just switch to a whisk here to make sure we are mixing this in really good. I don't do like deep fried food, but occasionally I do fry food, and it is so messy and dangerous. I'm pretty sure my glasses are covered in grease. And I cleaned up this, not really, you can see the streakiness of it, but I did a quick wipe down. But it is not my favorite thing, but I think the outcome is worth it, so. All right, we're just gonna keep whisking this till it's nice and creamy. All right, so it's all done. We're just gonna top with some bacon. Whoops. Some bacon, I'm just using the real bacon pieces, and some parsley. I accidentally put the parsley away. But there we go. We're gonna plate this up, and I already had a taste of the sauce, and it is delicious. All right, so I decided to serve it up on top of my mashed potatoes, sprinkled a little bit more bacon and parsley on top just for looks. We do have side salads on the table, so we are eating a balanced meal here, but this is what is for dinner tonight. All right, guys, so for tonight, we are gonna be making a really easy breakfast for dinner. We're gonna have some quiche. I've got a refrigerated pie dough or pie crust. Just going easy here. I've never made my own pie crust, but it's on my radar, something I might give a try. And I just let it come to room temperature, so it's been out for about 15-20 minutes. Don't make the mistake I made in the last time I made this, and I left it out too long, and it was really hard to handle. It was like falling apart. I'm gonna throw something underneath this Otherwise, that's gonna rock and move the whole time. I am not gonna do pinching the crust together because I just don't care if it's got a pretty edge, but you can, you know, do that whole thing. I'm not good at it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. My husband just came in from outside. He's sitting on the patio because in this beautiful fall weather we're still able to eat out on the patio in the evening. So he's out there. But if you heard the creaking door, that's what that was about. This recipe is super easy. I've got 6 eggs cracked here in the bowl. We're gonna add in 3/4 cup of milk. I use almond milk just because that's what we use. And add a little bit of salt. I'll have the recipe linked. I think the recipe called for 3/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper, if you so choose. I do not so choose. I like to leave my pepper out. Jesse can add it to his. Just gonna whisk this together. This time we're gonna do a broccoli, cheddar, and ham quiche. I'm also gonna do some tater tots on the side as well. I'm using this pre-sliced and pre-cooked ham from Aldi. I buy it and then kind of divide the package up and freeze it. So I've been having this thaw. There's a little bit of iciness, but it's thawed. But that's what I'm using, but you could use anything. We're just gonna chop this up. All right, so the recipe says you want 1 cup of ham. I did a little bit less just because I'm also adding in the broccoli and I'm probably gonna sprinkle on some bacon. So, and then I'm going to do some steamed broccoli. This is not in the recipe, but I steamed it and then I let it just sit and kind of drain off so that there was not too much moisture in here. I also did kind of pat down my ham because it was a little bit juicier because it had been frozen and I just didn't want there to be extra moisture in the quiche. All right, so to our pie crust, we're going to add in our broccoli and then our ham. I'm also gonna add in a little bit of bacon. We're just gonna use these bacon pieces. So basically I have a recipe that I'm following the general idea of it, but not to a T. And then we're gonna also put in about a cup of cheddar cheese. I mean, you could use any you want, but I am going cheddar. We have a nephew who really likes broccoli cheddar quiche. I sent him a message to let him know that that's what we were having for dinner. And you're just gonna pour your egg mixture on top. Gonna add a little bit more cheese on top. Wow, I really just put cheese on the ground. I literally see a piece of cheese on my slippers. All right, I'm gonna put this in the oven at 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes until it is set in the middle. I put it in for about an additional 5 minutes because it wasn't quite set in the center. We're just gonna let this cool for probably about 5 minutes and then we'll cut into it. Came out good, smells good, excited to eat this. Love having breakfast for dinner. Hey guys, so sorry it is steamy. That will settle down in just a second. Tonight we're gonna be having creamy taco soup. So far, all I've done is browned up some ground beef, and I did add in a very, very small onion. That is not in the recipe, but I added it. Right now I'm gonna add in 4 cups of chicken broth. All right, you are seeing frozen chicken broth because this is some homemade chicken broth that I made that was in the freezer. I did take it out to thaw, but obviously I didn't take it out soon enough. So we were gonna turn this stove, or the stove, that's what I'm talking about, up to high. And we're gonna add in well, not the rest, but the next batch of ingredients. I've got 2 cans of diced tomatoes with green chilies. We're gonna do all of the juices in that. These are the ones I'm using. Apparently I had some mild and some regular. So that's just what I happen to pull out of the cupboard. I've got 1 can of corn that has been drained. 1 can of black beans that has been drained and rinsed. Giving that kind of a stir. Can't fully stir it because of that frozen chicken broth, which will go away soon. We're gonna add in our seasonings. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. I will have the recipe for this linked down below as well. I did a slight variation. 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. I think the recipe called for a bell pepper with the beef, and I don't really like peppers and I don't have any, but I thought onion made sense, so I added that. And I'm going to let this come to a boil, which will probably take me a little longer since I got some frozen chicken broth in there, but you want to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to reduce heat and let it simmer for about 8 minutes. All right, so I've had this simmering for a good little bit here, and we're going to go ahead and add in some cream cheese. I took that out about an hour ago, or at least that's what I was intending to do. I don't remember what time I brought it out, but bring it out a little ahead of time, cut it up into pieces. It'll just make it melt in here a little bit quicker, trying to not splatter as I transfer this. And we're just going to mix this until the cream cheese is all combined. You may just have to keep moving it around a little bit, get it all incorporated. But if it's nice and soft, it shouldn't take too long. If you forget to take it out ahead of time, you can pop it in the microwave for 20 to 30 seconds to soften it. This soup altogether probably takes roughly about 30 minutes to come together, so it's a nice quick one. And you can put whatever toppings you want. We're gonna keep our toppings pretty simple, but once you get everything in the pot, you can go ahead and, you know, prep your toppings so that you're all ready, and it can really all be done in about 30 minutes. And I've been cleaning up as I go. Not that a lot of dishes are made, but I've already cleaned up my cans and put them in the recycling bin. And I love recipes like this that are nice and easy, and you can kind of clean as you go. I like to do that. I don't always do that, but I like to. All right, we're gonna just let this go. Oh, I'm gonna also season with some salt. I'm gonna put actually I'm gonna get my little salt container. I'm gonna put a good amount in because my chicken broth is not salted. I usually don't salt mine when I make it, just so that way it's versatile for whatever I'm doing, or whatever I make with it, rather. Anyways, so you're gonna wanna salt and pepper. I don't like to cook with pepper, but salt and pepper at this point, and just keep stirring it till the cream cheese is all melted. All right, and I just served it up with some tortilla chips and some shredded cheese, and that is it. Super easy, and it smells delicious. I'm guessing it tastes delicious. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. That creamy chicken thigh recipe was so good. Fried food is a little bit messy, but the effort was really worth it. It was so delicious. Like, I really don't know how. It was like comfort food, really good on like a chilly evening. I don't know. Quiche, always a win. Loved the additions with the broccoli. The soup was so good. Okay, yeah, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. They were all really good. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing before you leave. Make sure your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out on my future videos, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.